What advice would you give to young African Americans?
Struggle. Read Frederick Douglass. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never will, it never has. That if you want anything out of this country in this life, you have to struggle.
This is Baba J. I met him as Jonathan Speller at a restorative justice training at Loyola University, where we became friends.
How you doing, big brother? Good. Yes, sir. Who is this? Hey, that's you.
Baba J is the Dean of Students at the Barbara A. Sizemore Academy in the Englewood neighborhood of Chicago.
And wear your shirt every day. All right, every day.
In 2014, Baba J invited me to the Kwanzaa celebration at his school, and I was awed by the richness of the culture and the sense of community that filled the building. I'm a doctor of education, and what I observed at this school was something akin to magic.
Hey, school. We love school.
The students, teachers, and administrators at the Sizemore Academy, BASA as they affectionately call it, have created an urban village, an oasis in the heart of Englewood. For the sake of full disclosure, the boy in these home movies is the man who made this film. When I was a young boy, I didn't know about race. All I wanted was to ride my bicycle, play with my fire truck, and eat soap. Many people say that growing up white in America is a privilege. This may be true, but I have been privileged to spend much of my last year in this remarkable community in Englewood.
So Funga is saying, my sister, my brother, I welcome you back to home. Funga, Alafia, Ashe, Ashe. Ashe means let it be so, or like saying amen or blessings too. Kawo, Ilekawo. Kawo means I welcome you into my home. I welcome you into my space. Ergun, Alafia, we thank the ancestors for you, for us to be meeting, in this time.
Having an Afrocentric education does not mean to not respect other perspectives. It doesn't mean to respect other types of education. It doesn't mean that you teach hate or any of these other things that people assume come along with an Afrocentric education.
If you don't know who you are, anybody can name you, and they will. And that's what's happening with us. And what we're trying to do here is to change the conversation. You change the conversation with the children by telling them the truth, and by giving them the type of kind of a knowledge-based curriculum that will not lie to them, allow them to grow, into healthy human beings. That's what we're trying to do.
Afrocentric education is simply about self-esteem, about where you come from. That's simply what it is. It's about teaching children the true history of what the experiences have been, good or bad, on either side, and making sure that our children are equipped in a way that they are not victims of somebody else's perception of them.
We're just simply teaching our children what their role is, or historically what their role has been, or what their history has been, and what and because of that, what their contributions have been and can be.
Hello.
You like this school?
Yes, I do.
What do you like about it?
I've been here since kindergarten. I like the culture of this school.
What's the cultural part?
African American history.
My kids, they've been on honor roll since they've been here, so I really think it's a good school for him, man. Instead of trying to put him in public school. I don't have to worry about all the shootings and the nonsense that doesn't go on here.
There are no safer schools around here. There aren't any better options for our children in the Inglewood area.
You know, my kids even come every day home telling me how good the school is. So that made me, you know, a proud parent.
They help my kids a lot. They're doing great. Honor roll students, straight A's.
We think a village is made up of lots of people, and it is, but the first village is in you. The first village that you need to practice all these virtues in is yourself. Because you can't control, you can't do any good to the village. If your personal village is out of order, what can we do so that we see the growth that we need to see as a class?
Put more work or effort into what we do and participate more and push for what we want more instead of having y'all do it for us.
Yeah, I like that one. Which virtue is that?
Order. Wait, not order.
Is it justice? Because it says, I will strive to live in an orderly life at school and at home.
A place for everything and everyone in this place.
Now read the social skills.
So following instructions,
Disagreeing appropriately, accepting decisions of authority, and controlling emotions. So, yeah.
If you want to know if your virtue applies, look at the social skill. And it will tell you if it can be applied or not.
I feel like the reason why I should have grown more is because I used to have like this attitude as if I'm smart enough, so I got time and I could just knock that out later. So I got time.
Procrastination
turns all the way into I don't got no time. Let me hurry up and do this, and then it was called work.
If you know procrastination is your issue, then you must work on order. Because as long as you don't get that part right, you don't work on that part, that is going to be your problem for the rest of your life. The problem is some of you, you're not seeing the growth that you should see or that you want to see because you're not practicing these things.
We don't do it consistently because we're so used to just be inside ourselves, like we don't even care, like we just ourselves, like we really wasn't paying attention to the virtues of Maya because we don't use them on a daily basis.
You don't use them?
No,
Who should use them? Who's responsible for using them?
Us.
For some reason, some of you are thinking that Mama Johnson is going to be able to give you the virtues. Then that's not how that works. You have to take hold of them and use them for yourself. I can't go to Walmart and buy harmony and balance and justice and give it to you. If you're not seeking truth for yourself, it won't come from anybody else. Because if I could buy them and give them to you, I would have already done that. Show a fist if you can do better with following instructions.
The food is really delicious here.
I mean, we eat vegetarian food, like not non-processed food. Everything that she makes is straight from out of the garden.
They get fresh fruit, fresh salad, and bread with every meal.
I heard great things about the food here.
Is that right? We try. We ain't please. Take care of the baby.
One of my favorite lunches at school is pizza.
So you're the main chef of the school?
Yes, I am.
What's your goal with the food that you prepare for the kids?
Show them how healthy eating and fresh foods can make their bodies and their minds much better. You tell your children to eat colors, kids by God every day, they'll be healthy, wealthy, and wise.
This is where we get our lunch. It's our 2 lunchrooms. That's where we line up. And over there is the kitchen. And these are our servers.
Can you think of a place in this area that you can walk and get some food that's actually healthy to you? No, so we're actually in the food desert. So when we feed you guys a vegetarian meal, one is to teach you good habits so that you actually know how to eat well. So you guys aren't dying from cancer and heart disease and all these other things and being overweight. And the other thing is that's our way to ensure that every single day, no matter what your experiences are outside of this campus, you get healthy food. You get vegetables, you get fruit, and you get other things that are going to sustain you but also to be healthy, meaning that we know that you're not going to live your life off of Flamin' Hots, Cheetos, and other random stuff that you get from the store. So as much as y'all try to resist it, y'all love it, right? Yeah, because Mama Jeannie does well with the food, so.
Do you guys eat healthy like this when you're not at school?
Nope.
I do.
Hey, it's a sometime. No.
Yeah. Where are you going to go to high school?
Well, I'm going to Sizemore High School. I'm going to take my test in 2 days. I want to go to Linwood. Me too. I want to go to an Ivy High School. Or Lane Tech.
Lane Tech?
Yeah, college prep.
It's far.
I know. I want to go to an Ivy High School.
What do you want to do?
When I graduate.
It's either Linwood, Whitney Young, or Lane Tech.
Why do you want to go to those schools?
Because it's selective enrollment, and I think it's going to be like a whole bunch of people like me there.
Who here has parents who went to college?
My mama went to college.
My dad
Your mama went to college?
Yeah.
Your mom go to college? Your dad?
I don't know where they went.
My mother went to Kennedy King, and now she's teaching at Kennedy King.
My mama went to Kennedy King too. Y'all need to stop following my mama, okay?
What are people like you?
Smart, intelligent. I mean, like, they not always. It's like we not always playing, but we still take our work serious though.
Who's going to the military?
Yeah, me. You said what? I ain't going to the military. I'm going to the Navy.
Why do you want to go to the military?
Because I feel like I can help my country.
I feel like our country is under depression right now.
No, I think that's just you under depression.
Our country is under depression.
What do you want to do when you get older?
I don't know. Be a graphic designer.
Well, I was thinking of being a lawyer.
Why? What would you do as a lawyer?
Because it seems like most lawyers save people of their skin color, and if I become a lawyer and my skin color, I want to save people that look like me.
What's your favorite subjects in school?
Writing. Writing is writing. Is writing.
If you can't count, then you don't know somebody paying with your money. So math, my favorite subject, because you know money is everything.
Money is power.
Yeah, money is power, basically. So
My hero is Martin Luther King because he made rights for black people. My hero is Rosa Parks. Just because of the fact that if she didn't do the things that she did when she was alive, we wouldn't really have the rights that we probably would now. My hero is Me. Period. Because I feel like, yeah, my mama and my grandma, they can provide for me, but at the end of the day, when I get upon a certain age, only me can put me in a certain position. Like, only me can make my own decisions. Like, I rule me, like whatever I do, it's all on me, it's not on nobody else. So I feel like it's up to me to do whatever.
My hero is God, because he watches me every 24/7. He wants me to make sure that I'm good. My hero is my mama and my daddy, because if it wasn't for them.
My mother.
My hero is my mother and my father, because if it wasn't for them, I would not be here right now.
If I had the power to change my race, I would stay the same. I like being black.
I wouldn't change my race because other people don't like African American people, I like my race still. Because I know that just because a black African American person go kill somebody, I know that I'm gonna go back and do that.
If I had the chance to change my race, I would, and it's for a reason. Because if I change my race and then I become another race, say if I become white, I would show other white people that if you have a black friend, there's nothing wrong with having a black friend, and then that would change the way they think and how they would look at black people. Like if I could become powerful and then show why black people matter, then other white people would follow behind me and the world would be a better place.
So at this point, as you know, CPS has voted to close BASA at the conclusion of this school year. Just to kind of let you know what's going on right now. The network, along with myself, are continuing to fight to keep your campus open. You guys have done a wonderful job in the last 2 years to do exactly what you needed to do academic and behavior-wise.
The reason that they are coming after us, and the bottom line is, they need to close schools. CPS is a financial cesspool. Their finances are and have been in disarray for many, many years.
They want our building, our property, and they want us as black young males and young females. They don't want us to succeed.
What I was thinking was that if the CPS gives money, they have to give money to the schools. And the less schools that they have, the more money they have for themselves.
In 2013, there was a dilemma of what test the students across the city of Chicago should take. CPS didn't know whether all schools should take a state-aligned version of the NWEA test, or they should take a Common Core aligned version of the test.
Why do you think they're trying to close the school?
They're wrong for that. They're wrong. So this school should be open.
They found a metrics of some sort to modify the actual results that each child took and gave them a different score than they actually received.
The reality is that the scores that our children had were national norms, so there was no legitimate reason to adjust the test scores.
They had raised our previous scores, and then they said, we're going to close you because you didn't grow. Well, we said, wait a minute, we did grow. We grew more than 90% of the schools in the nation, not just the city of Chicago, in the nation.
This school could be something if they just give us a chance, and they're not giving us a chance, they just want to close us. They don't know what we can do as black children, as black teachers, and just black people, period. They just think we're all alike, like we're all going to be unsuccessful, but that's not right.
It's a witch hunt, and unfortunately, they think that we're the witch, but they're the witches. It's the witches looking for the witches.
What I want you guys to learn is when you grow up, it is your responsibility to speak out and stand up for your children and your community. Yay, Bo?
Is your school's team good?
Yeah. Yesterday's game was 5-32.
There you go. you do to improve?
Just pass the ball more, get my team going, ball.
Myra. Alright, this is the Navy recruiting.
The Navy is one of my options as a thing that I do when I get older. And I told David that, and he wants to take me to ask questions and experience something new. The Navy got guns?
What do you think they do in the Navy?
No, I didn't think they didn't have guns. I was just saying, like, look how he look. He look like he about to go underground. I mean, under the water.
Yeah,
With
Navy
guns.
SEALs. This is Navy SEAls.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, if he go underwater, bullets, like...
Yeah, they travel underwater.
I know they do, but not as fast as they do in the air.
You know, this might help you think of your questions. Hello.
How you doing?
We're good, thank you. One of my students, Kamira, is interested in the Navy. She's 7th grade, and she wants to learn about it.
Okay, cool.
When was the last, like, actual war?
So the last time the Navy was truly involved in any kind of warfare, like you're thinking, was, guess, what do you think? Like how long ago? How many years do you think?
2, 3.
World War II. Yeah, because I mean, it was a different time back then. You know, now if the Navy has to get involved in any kind of fighting, we stay miles and miles, hundreds of miles away from the shore, and we send missiles out to where, you know, to wherever we're fighting. And that's our part in war, for the most part. And we bring the Marines in; they're the ones that do all the fighting and all that. And then we pick the Marines up, and then we take them wherever they need to go next, and we go do our own thing.
Is there a large population of people that, like, are interested, like, that come in to, like, sign for the Navy?
The thing is that a lot of people don't quite understand what we do. So they're a little intimidated because when they think of the Navy, they think of the military, they think of going to war.
And so what's got you so interested about the Navy?
Well, at first I thought that the Navy was more like the people that protect, like, overseas, until he was telling me more about, like, they don't really go to war. Like, the war is not really what they do. They more so, like, take the Marines where to go.
Right. One of the oaths that you have to take when you're in the military, to join the military, is that the fact that you will defend, you know, the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and domestic. So domestic meaning here in our country, and then also too foreign meaning overseas. So the Navy's almost like the world's police, okay? And when I say the Navy's almost like the world's police, you know, we're out there in international waters, and you know, we're making sure that everyone's safe out there. We all have different jobs, but the different jobs that we do support the same mission, though.
Do the females train the same way as the males, or they train more or less hardcore?
Same way, right? So in the Navy, everyone is treated equally, okay? It doesn't matter what your gender is, it doesn't matter what your race is or what your religion is. Everyone is treated equally, and when I say everyone's treated equally, that means that when you go to basic training, you're going to get the same kind of training that, you know, the guys are going to get in basic training. You're going to have to still run, you're going to still have to do push-ups. You know, there is no difference in as far as like males or females.
We're Africans in the school, so we live by like African. We have our own African pledge. Do you guys like have to say a pledge or like learn one?
Yeah, we do have a pledge. It's actually right there behind you. That right behind us is that's our Sailor's Creed for the Navy. I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, and I will obey the orders of those appointed over me. I represent the fighting of the spirit of the Navy and those who have gone before me to defend freedom and democracy around the world. So that's what we was pretty much saying earlier as well too, that what we do is we defend our country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So we spread democracy, we spread, true faith, we spread, our vision of a better country around the world. Okay, because there are some countries out there that don't believe in some of the things that we do, but we want to have democracy throughout the world. I proudly serve my country's Navy combat team with honor, courage, and commitment. Those are our core values for the Navy: honor, courage, and commitment. So everything that we do in the Navy, we do it by the Sailor's Creed, and we do it by our core values, which are honor, courage, and commitment. And I am committed to excellence and the fair treatment of all.
I'm an African drummer, so not with the snares. I drum with my hands. I'm an African dancer. I like not necessarily to harm people, but I like to stop people from harming other people, like our country. I am a good swimmer.
I think that, just from what I hear, I think that the Navy, is definitely something that would, be of great benefit and value to you. And, something that the Navy would, also benefit having someone like you as well, too, in the Navy.
Okay, smile. Smile again.
Say Navy SEALs.
Say Navy SEAls.
Navy SEAls.
And you want to thank them?
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Rashad, how do you get home?
I catch the bus. On my, I think she at work.
What? Making a movie about your school. Why? I like your school. You want me to drive you guys? Okay.
You gonna come over right now?
I'm coming now.
The clothes of the bus, it's in the newspaper.
So when we get in the car, you'll roll down the window, and then you'll shoot video as we drive.
All right. Right in front of the handicap center.
Yeah. Are your parents here?
Yeah.
He's here.
Let me guess. This is the dining room, and this is the living room.
Living room.
So what do you normally do when you get home from school?
Usually I just do my homework. I change clothes, and then he'll do it right there. If my dad not, we'll just play the Xbox.
Has CPS told you about the closing?
They told us.
I don't like no other schools.
You don't like other schools. Do you feel safe at school?
Mm.
Do you feel safe?
Yes.
At Sizemore. You think you'll feel safe at other schools?
No. Ain't no safe place, really. Anything can get done at any time.
You feel like somebody could shoot right now into the apartment? Into this?
Yeah.
Really? Does it happen?
Here in Chicago?
Here in Englewood, in your neighborhood?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
That's the problem in this community, man. It's a lot of broken home stuff. You know what I'm saying? A lot of fathers not there, whatever it is. A lot of fathers out in the streets handling their business, whatever it is, whatever the excuse may be, man. You know, that's just the problem in the community, man. That's all it is.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just doing the 6.
So before I came to school to try to teach you how to make a video about your school, I had one fear. It's a really big fear, and I want you to understand this, okay? I think it's really important to learn that you need to fight, and you need to fight the power all the time. But if we fight this fight and you guys lose, I don't want you to learn the lesson that you shouldn't fight the next time because you're going to lose anyway. But it's very possible that we'll make a movie, and it will be a great movie, and people still will keep your school closed. It's very possible, and you shouldn't be discouraged. I don't want you to be discouraged by that, okay? Your daughter, Haya.
Yes.
What do you want for her?
I want her to be able to have the mindset and be able to be the best that she can be able to thrive and know that she can be the best. I think with the thing with hearing about the school possibly closing, I think they kind of fell into a mode of feeling sorry for themselves for a little while. And so now we're re-energizing them and stuff like that. When we went down to the board and got the results that it was final that we were closing, I think it was a heavy blow to the whole entire school that everyone felt it. And so I think the productivity from the children, they weren't doing their best.
What's going to happen if they close? Where's she going to go to 8th grade?
Well, I've already reached out to some very good schools already and got her in line and to be prepared for 8th grade. You know, I'm still staying hopeful here that she won't have to move.
Let me see you guys. Turn around. So do you guys like art?
Yes, I do.
Should I do a little painting for them?
Yeah.
Oh, good. How about I paint you real quick?
No, paint me. No, do me.
No, I'm easy to paint.
Foot on an angle, leg kind of going up here. See the light part over here? I wanted to put that in too.
Oh my God, they look just like you.
Oh, really? I guess what it is.
We should have the filter Jordans on.
It's hard work, huh?
Yes.
Can I please see?
Now you're having second thoughts about volunteering?
No, not really. I still want to see the result.
Pretty soon.
Jumping up. What are those?
Oh my God.
You like it? Give her a signature, Dad.
See, they forgot the arrow pop. No. Jumping off the roof. I said I'm jumping off the roof.
This is what, 15-minute drawing, right?
My leg's dying.
It's smoking right.
It was 16 shots! 13 months! It was 16 shots! 13 months! While you shot, people get shot! While you shot, people get shot!
This could happen to your daughter. This could happen to your daughter. She could get shot down and murdered.
While you shot,
People get shot.
Shut it down! Justice for Laquan! Shut it down! Shut it down! Justice for Laquan! Shut it down! Shut it down! Justice for Laquan! Shut it down! Shut it down! Justice for Laquan!
We're at Operation Push. They invited us to come here and plead our case.
Did you come here to fight to keep your school open? Yeah? What grade are you in? Why do you send your daughter to Sizemore?
Because I like the atmosphere, I like the family orientation of the school. I like that I know everybody, that, you know, I'm not a stranger, they're not a stranger to me, and it's a safe place to be.
and I went on about our children learning from their perspective and having self-esteem. And I was at home that particular evening watching TV, and I don't know if you're familiar with American Girl dolls.
Yes, I am.
So I just was curious. I wonder if they have any black American Girl dolls. So I look up the American Girl doll, and they have one black one, and her name is Addie.
Right.
And she's a former Addie, and she's a former slave.
Right.
And so the whole premise of American Girl doll is historical, strong women throughout history. And I'm thinking of all the things, all the strong black women throughout history that they could have chosen. They chose somebody who was a former slave and had this wretched story of her, triumphant, escape to freedom. And that was, to me, the perfect example of somebody else teaching our children something and giving them something they should attach to and they should identify with and they should be proud of, instead of them being able to create their own picture and their own imagery for their history.
Thank you.
Asante Sana.
Down, please.
Now, what does Asante Sana mean?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3.
Whether I'm in favor of charter school expansion, what I'm not in favor of is our kids constantly being moved around. And that's, again, I just can't continue to repeat that. It's past tense now, but I tell people, if it's not you today, it will be you tomorrow. So the issue was closing. And when people remain silent on that for their benefit because it wasn't affecting them, keep telling everybody, if it's not you today, it will be you tomorrow. You all like this class?
Yes!
All right.
It's definitely a different.
Mind if I take a picture with you all?
You guys want to come together for one big picture?
1, 2, 3. Everybody say cheese.
Cheese!
What this institution is about is to make sure we don't produce black people who love everybody but black people. Oh, when you look at the souls of the children here, you see that sparkle. You see that joy because the teachers have joy, the administrators have joy, the leaders have joy. There's no way this brother gonna hold on all this time. We won't even talk about all of the crises that he and his family have had to go through. Every time I see him, he's still got a smile on his face. How come? Because he's true to his calling, he's true to his vocation, he's true to what he is here to do. That's what my book is all about. That's what the family is all about. You can't sustain this kind of high quality institution for over 4 decades and view it as a sacrifice. You've got to find joy in serving others. You got to find joy in fighting for justice. Oh, what a people we really are when we get educated right. That's what this institution is about. What is education? First, we want to draw a distinction between deep education and cheap schooling. This is not an institution of cheap schooling. And that's very much what much of America is all about when it comes to educating young folk. Diane Rabbit says, rich kids get taught, poor kids get tested. Because you got big money in testing. Unfortunately, our young people have been told for the last 40 years, the end and aim of life is to be smart and to have big money. I say, let the phones be smart, you be wise. Great Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel say, indifference to evil is more evil than evil itself, because it becomes a whole way of life.
Do you want us to call you Baba David or what?
Sure.
Okay. This is Baba David, and he has volunteered to come in and share a little bit about his own culture and how it relates to ours, particularly with Kwanzaa.
What do you know about Hanukkah? What do you know?
I think it has something to do about that like each day is like lighting candles. It's like similar to Kwanzaa, but like a little different.
Right. So how many days do you do Kwanzaa for?
I think 8 days.
7 days. So we do Hanukkah for 8 days. And so the common thing that we have between Kwanzaa and Hanukkah is that we're trying to bring light into the world. And the story why we have 8 candles on a Hanukkah is that they came to the temple. It was totally desecrated, and they found one little can of oil, and they thought, oh, how are we going to dedicate it? Only 1 day's worth of oil. But when they lit that oil, they lit it, and it lasted for 8 days, and that's why we celebrate Hanukkah for 8 days. But there's another thing about the holiday which is really ugly, and I'm not proud of it, which is that the people who started Hanukkah were called the Maccabees. And the Maccabees were people who said, we don't like what's going on around us, and we don't like when other Jews behave like our conquerors, and they bow down to their gods. And one of these guys was very zealous. His name was Mattathias, in Hebrew Matityahu. And he saw a guy, a Jew, bending down to a Greek god, bowing, prostrating himself to a Greek god, and he said, this is not right, and he killed him. Okay? That's called zealotry, when you think that you're so right that what other people do is wrong and you can do whatever you want. I have a terrible voice, so I'm going to sing it once and you got to sing it with me to drown out my voice. Okay? Stop. So it goes like this. Oh dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay. Everybody. Oh dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay. And when it's dry and ready, oh dreidel, I shall play. And when it's dry and ready, oh dreidel, I shall play. So now let's put those two together. Oh dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay. And when it's dry and ready, oh dreidel, I shall play. Thank you.
Okay, I am Baba J, Dean of Culture here at Barberry Sizemore Academy. And today we're going to celebrate, have a pre-Kwanzaa celebration where our children will perform and explain and entertain and explain the Nguzo Saba.
What's going on here today?
We're having our Kwanzaa celebration.
But it's not Kwanzaa.
I know, but we're celebrating it before the kids leave for the school. Today's our last day.
What is it about Kwanzaa that you love?
That the kids get a chance to celebrate their culture.
I love that everybody is reunited and everybody gets to have fun.
Let me start by saying, Habarigani to the village. Let's try that again. Habarigani village. To our ancestors whose names we will never know. To those who died in tragedy known as the African slave trade, the Middle Passage. Those who drowned when they jumped ship. Those that fought to the death rather than become slaves. And those who suffered the injustices of slavery. The Ma'afa, the Great Suffering. A traumatic event in our cultural history that must be mourned and remembered. We must not forget, we honor their lives. For their love, faith, and sacrifices, we say and pour libation.
first? Keenan. This is Mr. Claypool.
What you here for, son?
Why are you doing?
Why? Hey, the scores and the numbers say that you all are not doing what you're supposed to.
Our scores show that we are great.
The numbers that I have is showing that it's not.
Those are not the right numbers.
Okay, all right. And what makes you say that your numbers is correct?
Oh my God.
Have you ever came to our school?
No, ma'am.
Then if you never came to our school, how do you know why you want to close our school?
So what makes your school so different from all the other schools?
We don't have to worry about coming in the morning and somebody bringing a knife or weapons or drugs.
Okay.
We all get along.
So this is our home. Like, why would you take away our home?
Okay, because even if you...
That's a great question. Really great question.
At other schools, the teachers, I feel like the teachers just do it for the money or for their paychecks. At this school, the teachers actually care about us.
There's a brand new same old story being spread by some fat cats on the right for the underfed.
I got it. I got it.
Everyone's got it.
Hello, would you like to see Forrest Claypool?
I'm sorry, he's an important only meeting.
We want to see Forrest Claypool.
He's not
I know,
available.
I know. And also just so you know, it's recorded inside the building. You need authorization from the communications department.
So you're not supposed
Sir,
to
did you
record
read?
the
This is not a public building, this is a private building. If you want and schedule an appointment,
She wants to talk to Forrest Claypool. What's his phone number?
I don't have his direct line. All I can do is give you the main line.
Here's the phone number. Yeah.
Okay, so, okay.
Look, like,
Who did that? Put it on speaker. Zay.
Terrence, you're not working.
Well, Mr. Claypool is not available.
Right, he said that we have to call him.
I'm letting you know there's not going to be chances available today.
What's that?
I'm letting you know right now there's not going to be chances available today.
Okay, so then he'll set us.
Go to the desk, please. Thank you.
So he'll set up an appointment for us.
Well, we can't set up an appointment. There's information on the internet where you can call the 1000 number.
Okay.
But Mr.
Listen,
I get
Mr.
it.
Claypool is trying to close their school,
Yeah, I get it, but you cannot report the spot.
but we want to talk to Mr. Claypool.
Mr.
So
Claypool is unavailable, sir.
I understand. So help us help us make a time that we can.
Holding that up like you're recording, sir.
Can we have the phone number? Okay, we'll go call him. Okay.
Thank you very much.
We tried going to CPS. We tried calling CPS. There's no way to get through to Forrest Claypool. So let's go over to the mayor's office and see if we can talk to him about what's going on, okay? Let's go. Don't be shy. Just be respectful. If you're shooting like this, you don't know what you're getting, so.
I heard around with you.
So the people that are that deal with CPS right now and getting in the building staff
She said we on.
checking us out.
We can either go back to CPS and say we couldn't schedule an appointment with Forrest Claypool. What do you suggest?
Going up.
Or we just start going and do something else. We'll have good footage. We have some good footage already. You're here on December 29th.
I'm here on December 29th. I probably would have been here on December 28th if the snow hadn't been so bad. It's really hard to put a 12-year-old's character on trial because they haven't really lived enough of a life for us to make a judgment about whether their death was justified or not. Calling Trayvon Martin a thug, calling Mike Brown a thug, and some alluding to the fact that Laquan McDonald was a thug. In this case, it's really hard to argue that Tamir Rice was a thug. He was a young boy with a toy.
You know, like when mothers used to buy all the kids toy guns for Christmas and all
Yeah,
that.
water guns,
Now,
so we get to be outside.
right now, they don't buy us.
They don't buy no
nothing.
guns because of the
No.
fact, what's his name?
Tamir Rice.
Tamir Rice.
What you doing?
Would you buy a gun?
No.
No.
If we in this section and she tells me to pick something from out of here, I ain't finna buy no gun.
I would instantly look
Football.
Football.
I play sports. Football.
But even if we had a chance to buy a gun just to play with it in the house, a kid would choose this, but at the same time, a kid wouldn't want to choose because they're scared now.
Yeah.
After all this stuff was going on.
When I first heard about it from my teacher, I was shocked. Like, damn. He
Because-
only 12 years
look.
old. He died.
When I was a kid, my dad was a pacifist. You know what a pacifist is? No.
No.
You know what a pacifist is?
No.
Somebody who's against war.
Oh, I was thinking.
And my dad wouldn't let me have a gun. I had a squirt porpoise. It was like a squirt gun porpoise, and we play cops and robbers. You ever tried to rob a bank with a porpoise?
These are my guns. I don't need no gun to, you feel me, have power or to defend myself or to show somebody I ain't no punk.
So whose hair do you cut? One of these guys?
No, neither one of them.
Are you guys getting me in trouble here?
No.
I go to a barber, she's $5. She's a Syrian, and I don't know if she's any good, but
I love this barbershop. When I first came in here, it was raining outside and everything. My barber that's down the street canceled him. So I came here and he hooked me up. He went crazy.
Terrence, if this don't do good, I don't.
Your wife gonna divorce you or never marry you?
Trust me.
Oh no, my God. Now I can't see if he's doing good.
It isn't a bad neighborhood. It's just that everybody want power. Everybody.
What do you mean by power?
They want to be able to, like, for people to look up to them. But little do they know, little kids look up to them. You feel me? And with little kids looking up to them and they doing what they doing with guns and selling weed and selling drugs and narcotics.
Now, you think it's being an entrepreneur to sell?
Yeah, I look at you as an entrepreneur because you making money, but you just doing a legal way. You doing math. You gotta do math. You gotta know math to sell narcotics. You must know math.
Okay, so getting out of the hood is a good thing?
Yeah.
If you out the hood, do you say?
Not
Oh,
really.
it's about safety?
Yeah. If you at the hood, so
If you out the hood, you don't gotta worry about as much stuff.
You can either do it two ways: the legal way or the illegal way. And
Legal way is getting a job.
legal way is doing something that you're good at, your special.
Why not just get out of, go to school, get good grades?
Some people
Some
don't.
people don't think like that.
Yeah. For all people.
Because you can't get good grades?
No, not that. You got some people that got degrees. Like I got bachelor degrees right now, and I couldn't get a job.
Okay.
I've been to school. I've been to college. And I'm the only person in my family that has graduated college, but find it hard to find a job.
What did you study?
Media communication. I also have a bachelor in psychology with sociology as a minor.
Okay.
Also went to school to be a medical assistant.
Okay.
And I finished that. I have credentials in my pocket. I also got a forklift license. But guess what? With my forklift license, I'm certified for every forklift.
So what's better to do? This or a forklift?
You know what? This is okay because it's money every day. I can feed my family with no problem. But a forklift license, that's just to have, if I ever need a job, I can go get a job doing anything because I'm certified. But it's hard even with that. You know, you got to go through these companies that only want the temp agencies.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? When you go through the temp agency gonna get paid more than what the barber will get paid. American Heart Association, I just graduated from school. You see what I'm saying? But guess what? Do I have a job in the medical field? No, I'm sitting here cutting your hair.
That's why I was talking to Terrence about, you know, starting getting young men off the street, or they can be with positive background, negative background, it don't matter. We grab them, we bring them here on a Saturday, get their parents' permission. We teach them chess, morals, beliefs.
Here in the barbershop?
Yeah, here in the barbershop. And let them spend a night. Let them spend a night. So when they spend a night, you know, we just, and pick their brain too. Because see, a lot of people don't know that they have done research as far as young black boys are more difficult in a sense to teach, in a sense, because of all the manipulation that is brought upon them. So it's like you have to get to, in order to start teaching a young black boy, you have to get on a personal level with them. And then they will open up.
Everyone gets to make a little movie about themselves. So this is about basketball. Terrence wants to make something funny, but he's not that funny.
I can't be the way I want to be on camera.
My name is Rashad Halsey, and today is Martin Luther King Day. I'm here with Bossa Press, and I wanted to show the people what it's like to be black when we're playing outside. And we have to be safe. Like the sign says, don't shoot kids at play.
Look at this great photographer. You go for it. That's marvelous.
If we out here playing basketball or something, just running around, and somebody come through with a gun and start shooting, one of us could probably end up dead.
Terrence, are you nervous?
Yes. I'm back and forth. I'm just making sure I get my thoughts together in my head so that I can say what I need to say. It's coming in waves.
Right now, we're here at the United Center with Michael Jordan.
Michael, what do you think Dr. King would say about them closing down the Barbara A. Sizemore Academy? Michael is so speechless, he doesn't know what to say.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome.
Let's do it right over here.
We just go wherever she tells us.
Yeah, good deal.
Right now, we are in front of the Cook County Juvenile Center. If CPS does decide to close our school, it's a good chance of one of us winding up inside the juvenile home because we don't have anything else to do.
You would like to take some good shots, my dear? Why don't you stand right here? Be careful. The floor director will probably come in here.
All right, why would you take away our home? That's what the students from Betty Shabazz, Barbara A. Sizemore Elementary are asking the Chicago public school system. In an effort to keep the school doors open, the students decided to go straight to the source. We're talking CPS CEO Forrest Claypool. They did this with the help of local filmmaker David Shiner to create Saving Barbara Sizemore, the movie.
We made these at my church, Atonement Covenant Church. And these are the signs to show Africa, and it says, MASH means Mother Against Street Shooters. That's saying that they don't want their child to be dead or to be killed by a street shooter.
Let me ask you guys, how did you feel when you found out, Terrence, that your school is going to be closing?
It was hurt. It was like, this is my home. This is why I feel comfortable at, and this is why I feel like I have a second mom or second dad.
You get that leadership there. And what about you, Aya? Did it hurt you as well? And do you call your school your home? Does it feel that good to you?
Yes, it does. Because it feels like you're with your family instead of just a teacher.
You're with your family, and everybody is that close there. Danielle, that means you're doing something that a lot of schools wish they could achieve in the Chicago school system. So why is your school being closed?
You know, that's a very good question. You know, the undisputable facts at this point is that CPS changed our test scores. They haven't provided any rationale as far as evidence that the rationale behind changing the test scores actually hold up. From the simulated test scores that CPS produced, they then put us on what is called a provision or warning or academic probation. We met the terms of the academic probation at the end of last school year. Once it was announced we met the terms of the academic probation, CPS came up with another policy and then implemented it retroactively. So you have our students who outgrew 97 to 99% of all students in the nation with the same starting point. And CPS simulated data, changed it, and then put us on academic warrant.
The grades there, K through what?
K through 8.
And K through 8 there. And how many students do you have in all?
Approximately 270.
Thanks for my child. A lot of the mothers, when they outside and like they know when they hear about a shooting, they know that could have been their child, but it wasn't. So instead they get a thanks to God that it wasn't their child. So they say, thanks for my child.
We got a statement here from Chicago Public Schools that we want to share with you. A spokesperson says that closing a school is always a last resort, but after reviewing the performance of these 4 schools, it is clear our students need and deserve better options. Our team is fully committed to working with families to find new options that will meet the individual needs of each student. And that's got to hurt you, Danielle.
It absolutely does. Because to be perfectly honest, this is the deception that CPS has been putting out there, and I'm just going to call it deception. They're using test scores that they simulated, not the test scores that the children actually earned, not the test scores that actually came out of the system that CPS has designated as the measurement tool. In fact, our students were outgrowing 97 to 99% of all students, not just in Chicago, in the entire nation.
Bossa Press is at Murray Park, aka Murder Park, and they call it Murder Park because the murder rate over here is very high. And we're trying to hurry up and get this scene over with so we don't make it increase anymore.
What's that?
Why are we here today? We're here to save Barbara Sizemore.
We're here this evening to conduct a public hearing for an appeal that has been filed with the State Charter School Commission.
Barbara Sizemore taught me the things about education that are important. She taught them to me. And for anybody to say that they're going to close a school with her name on it, they got to go through me.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Mary Bradley, and I'm the Executive Director in the Office of Innovation and Incubation at Chicago Public Schools. I would first like to express our appreciation for this opportunity to explain the Chicago Board of Education's decision to revoke the Barbara A. Sizemore Academy campus of Betty Shabazz International Charter School.
She taught me to master the data because she knew that they're going to come after you with the data. And if you haven't mastered the data, they're going to beat you with the data.
Based on data from the 2013-14 school year, the Sizemore campus received a level 3 rating on the School Quality Rating Policy, otherwise known as the SQRP. Because this low rating indicated that the school was not making reasonable progress toward achievement of its contractual standards, the Sizemore campus was placed in revocation status and asked to submit a remediation plan.
Sizemore met face-to-face 3 times between January and June 2015, presenting the CPS-approved remediation plan with data on its implementation. The final request for documentation of the remediation plan did not occur until after CPS called our Chief Executive Officer to notify us that they would be recommending closure and gave us 3 business hours to submit documentation with no explicit directions as to what constitutes full documentation.
The Chicago Board of Education voted to close the Sizemore campus at the end of the 2015-16 school year because it failed to implement its remediation plan.
We have never received any feedback from CPS with regard to that submission until the November board meeting, at which time we had no opportunity to respond.
Over the past 2 years, BASA students have grown faster than students nationally. BASA students have gained 1.5 to 3 years of instruction for every 1 year in school. In 2014, our campus was formally recognized by Mayor Rahm Emanuel for growth in mathematics. New Schools for Chicago chose BASA as one of 6 finalists for its most recent $375,000 school improvement grant. In a time when money and resources are scarce, we provide art classes, gym, music, band, African dance, African drum, and basketball at no charge to our students. Over the past 2.5 years,
years, 11.5% of our children have been accepted to selective enrollment high schools, and 70% of our students have been eligible to test and apply to these schools.
Well, there's a point where even after you master the data, you got to move on. You got to move upwards. You got to move on to what's really important, and that's educating black children.
CPS understands the impact that a potential school closing will have on Sizemore campus students and families, and takes its obligation to provide these families with transition supports seriously.
One of the biggest differences between CPS schools in Inglewood and Bossa is that we truly love our children. We believe in our children, and we want to serve the children of Inglewood.
Why do we need Bossa? We need Bossa because students deserve to be exposed to a culturally rich curriculum. They deserve to be educated in a way that is specially designed and tailored for them.
And I just want to make sure you all understand that it's beyond just the scores. We care, I'm watching, I stand up for this school, and another thing, stability. If you don't remember anything else I said, stability is key. And some of these kids already have been moved around because of the administration at the city's closing of schools. And we cannot continue that. Thank you so much.
Good evening. My name is Jonathan Speller. I'm known as Baba J in the village. I am the Dean of Culture here at the school. I'm here to talk about, as a Baba of the village, and our men are Babas and our women teachers are mamas. And we tell our parents that as a Baba, I act as the child's father while they're with us during that school day. And they're with us more hours, waking hours, during the school year than they are with their actual parents. So we come in with the understanding that we are going to treat our watoto like our own children.
There is a reason why this is called the Jewel of Inglewood. And if you are really interested in the best interest of the children, you will not close this school. Thank you.
It is not in the best interest of Chicago students for the Sizemore campus to become a commission-operated charter. It did not present the commission a strong plan to remain open. The plan does not include a way to improve the school's academic performance, nor does it identify a realistic facility. If the commission decides to deny this appeal, CPS will continue to work with each Sizemore campus family to transition them to a school option that best fits their needs.
They said, we're going to make an easy transition for these children. Now, one time have I gotten a letter from CPS. Betty Shabazz has always informed me. With Chicago Public Schools, they don't know you. Our kids are numbered. That's it. That's it.
I hope the school will not close because my school is not underperforming. Bossa is overperforming. Bossa is overperforming. We are becoming bigger and better as a school. Underperforming is something that teachers and students don't tolerate. When I found out that my school was closing, I was more angry at the reason why it was closing than the fact that it was closing, because I know that my school is not underperforming. I think Bossa should stay open for one main reason, because I have younger siblings that go here and who have become attached to children in their classes and come home happier than I've ever seen in any other school. I feel like they should not have to lose the opportunity to be safe and bond with people who are like them and look like them because of a school district changing scores and who appears not to care about our people's presence in the school.
I feel that closing Bossa is not a benefit to Chicago nor Inglewood because Bossa is more than just a school for some students. It is a safe haven. Although I do not live in Inglewood, most of my friends do, and they tell me stories of their outside experiences, and most of them feel safe at this school than other schools they have attended. Hearing my classmates say this and feeling the same way, I feel we all should do great, and we deserve a great education. And that is what Bossa has given us, plus more. Here at Bossa, we are given safety and a second family. It fills empty spaces for those of us who do not have people we need at home. We come here for more than just an education. We come here for a mother or a father or a mentor or even just someone to talk to. Although 2 minutes is not long enough to tell you the benefits and opportunities that Bossa has given me, I am grateful for the opportunity to speak to you. Thank you.
And this is the Barbershop Show. I'm Richard Steele.
We are live from Carter's Barbershop in Chicago's North Lawndale, and we are going to talk about education in this particular segment. David Steiner has joined us. He's a filmmaker and educator who's been working, I believe, as a volunteer with the students at Barbara Sizemore Academy on a documentary. So welcome to all of you once again. What inspired you to do this documentary? How did you get involved in this project and decide to do a film and have the students involved?
So the Dean of Students at Sizemore, Baba J, was at a restorative justice training session, and we met, we became friends, and he invited me to come see Kwanzaa at the school in 2014, and I was just knocked out. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was really amazing. I had run Jewish schools that tried to celebrate Jewish culture, and they were so successful at this school, and I said, I want to learn more about this. I need to learn how they do this.
Well, let me ask you, in terms of, there's so much to talk, there's so much to cover in terms of what has happened here and the successes and the, not failures, but situations that they've run into like now in terms of trying to stay open. In choosing what to cover, one of the things that you did is you took the crew out. While they're doing this, they're learning something about trying to film some stuff, right? You're having them hold a camera, and there was one shot where they were riding in the car and shooting film as they were driving down the street. So they learned some of the technical aspects of filmmaking, as well as what? I mean, what do they get out of this whole process?
Well, actually, one of the teachers that most impresses me at Sizemore is Mama Jocelyn. She's the English teacher for the 7th and 8th grade. And we talk a lot about how literacy isn't what it was when we were kids. And so part of filmmaking is learning all kinds of new literacy skills, how to ask questions, how to set a composition with your camera, what to record, what not to record, what angles. And so we've been talking about it since we started the film. How are we going to add to their literacy by giving them the camera? Asking questions, doing an interview. When we went to CPS, and we
yes, you went to Forrest Claypool's office, kind of a la Michael Moore style. So tell me about that.
Well, we practiced. We went in the hallway of the school beforehand. We had the security guard, Baba Hollis, pretend that he was Forrest Claypool, and all the students asked their questions. Why are you closing my school? This is my home. Do you understand that it's my home? How could you close my school without even coming into my school?
This is before you went down there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it really expands their minds to think, what kind of answer do I need from that person? And how do I ask the question to get the right answer? And they were amazing. I didn't have to do very much. It was one of my easiest teaching gigs.
Wait, we gotta wait for all of them to vote, and then that's how it's determined?
I have no idea.
I'm gonna be no. What if it be like? What if it be like? What if it be like yes, it's 11? What if it be 5 yeses, 5 no's, and then one person gotta be like, if it's a yes or no, I'm gonna be on the fence, and it's like, I'm sorry at the last one. No, if they say no, I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry hard.
It'll be tears either way.
Yeah.
They can't say no to you, your dreams, who you know you are. That's something school can't give you. That's something no numbers on a piece of paper can define who you are and what you're really capable of.
Are we going to celebrate today?
Oh, definitely. No question. No question.
Are we going to be drinking champagne today? Or I hope so. Are you prepared? Are you ready? Are we going to do good?
I think we're going to be successful. I hope that we certainly are. We deserve to be. We put in a long, the students put in a hard effort to improve themselves, and we've made our appeal, we've made our case, we think it's strong.
know that by this time, I'm not a excitable person. I'm not an extremely crunk person. I don't get overly enthusiastic about things. So I'm going to try to deliver this as enthusiastically as I possibly can and know that I'm extremely excited and extremely relieved, even though my emotions may seem even keel. So last night was the vote, and for those of you who don't know, we won. It was a hard fought process.
You were there to capture it on film again, the reaction from students and the folks involved in this heroic process. What's it been like to be around that, and how would you characterize it?
It was, for the children, they said to me, David, this was the happiest moment of my entire life. And you could see it in their faces. The energy in the room was just outstanding.
I want to recognize our 7th and 8th grade Watoto first. So people who don't know, this was the first time that we really called on our children in a very meaningful way to represent us, to stand for us, to speak on our behalf. And the way you guys took on that challenge, the way you guys, every day I would come in, you would ask me, what's going on? Where you been? How was the meeting? What can we do? Why are they doing this? You stepped up, you wrote speeches. Most of you have no experience public speaking. You stepped up, you did public speaking, you represented us to the fullest, and I cannot describe how proud I am of you.
Now, what do you think, David, the role of the documentary may have played in the decision that was handed out?
The documentary was peripheral. We inspired the children. We taught them that they have an important voice in this fight, and we created an energy in the school, but the real work was the administrators of the school.
One thing I want you guys to learn is when things get hard or you think that you don't have a chance, even when you're discouraged, always do your best. Because one of the things I thought about is if we lose or we fail and I don't do my best, then I can't live with that, because I don't know if we failed because I didn't put my all into it. If we failed and I put my all into it, then it is what it is, and that's what it was meant to be. And so I want you guys to understand that even when you feel discouraged, even when you feel like you're outnumbered, even when you feel like you're outmanned, it's still your responsibility to work with fidelity and do your best, and don't be scared of failing.
Have you noticed, David, a different sort of bounce to the kids' steps the last day and a half since the news came out?
They're walking on clouds.
So I want you guys to remember, when you're in class and things are hard, or you're not interested, or you think to yourself, what am I ever going to use this for? Remember, there is probably most likely going to come a point in your life when all the things that you learned that you never thought would be useful for anything are going to serve you well, and not just serve you well, but hopefully serve the people that you care about and serve your community well. So anyway, we have a long way forward, but I think that we're going to get there. Congratulations to us. Thank you, Mama Makita, and thank you everybody for your support.